Two modern governments, the People's Republic of China in Beijing and the Republic of China in Taiwan, both claim the same historical legacy. That legacy began along the banks of the Yellow and Yangtze Rivers. This immense land is defined by deep river valleys and extreme distances. Governing a space this large poses a brutal logistical challenge. Whoever wanted to rule here had to figure out how to project authority across thousands of miles and unite dozens of distinct regional cultures. The earliest inhabitants tried solving this through consensus. Ancient tribal alliances held councils to elect their leaders, choosing whoever showed the greatest ability to manage the communities along the floodplains. Under the Xia dynasty, that system of merit-based election stopped. The final elected leader passed control directly to his son. By treating political authority as family property, they established the concept of the dynastic bloodline. This innovation provided a clear chain of succession and set the baseline for how authority would be transferred for the next 4 millennia. When the Zhou dynasty took power, their borders had expanded significantly. The sheer acreage of conquered territory was now far too vast for one king to manage directly from a central capital. To maintain control, the Zhou king carved the land into fiefdoms, granting territories to relatives in exchange for loyalty. But as generations passed, familial bloodlines drifted apart. The regional lords stopped being subjects and built up local military strength. The result was centuries of chaos, known as the Spring and Autumn and Warring States periods. China fractured into independent fiefdoms waging relentless war. The Zhou's experiment proved a harsh reality. In a geographic space this vast, delegating power leads to fragmentation and civil war. The eventual victor of this bloodbath was the ruler of the Qin state. He operated under a doctrine known as legalism, which demanded absolute adherence to a single central law. He unified China by force, crushing the rival states, and declaring himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. To ensure the land remained unified, he standardized everything from the coins in circulation to the written script. The Qin dynasty collapsed quickly due to its extreme harshness, but the subsequent Han dynasty adopted and refined its structure, stripping away the worst brutality. By combining absolute imperial authority with a class of professional civil servants, the Han perfected the emperor and bureaucracy model. This political operating system would govern China for the next 2,000 years. Yet this machine had a recurring flaw. Prolonged peace allowed local elites to grow corrupt, hoarding land and pushing the weight of taxation onto the peasantry. Pushed to starvation, those exploited millions would eventually break. Massive movements like the Yellow Turban uprisings exploded across the countryside, tearing ruling dynasties apart. Whenever the imperial military turned inward to suppress revolts, the northern border defenses were left exposed. Opportunistic tribes would seize the moment and ride south. Entire foreign nations breached the borders to conquer China, most notably the Mongols, who established the Yuan dynasty, and the Manchus, who founded the Qing. But a strange paradox occurred every time the borders fell. To control the massive population they had just defeated, these foreign invaders had to adopt the exact same bureaucratic system used by their predecessors. The centralized state had evolved beyond any specific bloodline. It functioned as a self-perpetuating machine capable of absorbing even its own conquerors. That machine finally met its match in the 19th century. The ruling Qing dynasty faced a new kind of threat: European colonial powers driven by the Industrial Revolution. The Opium Wars exposed the failure of China's isolationist policies, proving the ancient military and economic systems were entirely obsolete. The shock of domination triggered massive social unrest. In 1911, the Xinhai Revolution, led by Republican progressives, finally toppled the empire. By 1912, the final emperor, Puyi, abdicated his throne. In his place, the revolutionaries established the Republic of China. The 1911 revolution permanently destroyed the 2,000-year-old imperial operating system, ending the dynastic cycle forever. Removing the emperor left a power vacuum that temporarily plunged China back into a state of warring regional military commanders. Ideological pioneers, such as Sun Yat-sen, worked to unify the fractured republic. Control eventually narrowed into a civil war between two modern political machines: the nationalists led by Chiang Kai-shek and the communists led by Mao Zedong. Mao's party eventually seized the mainland, forming the People's Republic of China. the defeated nationalist forces retreated across the strait, maintaining the Republic of China government on the island of Taiwan. China's history functions as a relentless laboratory of political science, where the mechanisms of power have been constantly forced to evolve to solve the eternal challenge of holding a massive, fractured continent together.